hugely popular Castrol BMW Race Driver Series returns for the 10-11 season with a massive entry list of over 100 cars in the Open and the E30s.
Warwick, a new season, I guess there's a few new cars here as well.
Yep, a lot of new cars, a lot of good drivers coming out with their new cars too. And yesterday we saw Mike Mosen do a great job in the wet in his new car. First race he's finished in that car and he won it. So congratulations to Mike.
Barry, a new season, we saw this car appear last year. I guess you're going to run it for the whole season this time.
Yeah, too right. We hope we'll be able to finish every meeting this year. We had a few issues with a new car last year, but we think we've sorted everything now.
Just had a look at Warwick Mortimer's car, which is also an M3, but the cars, your car and his car, do look quite a bit different. What's the difference?
Warwick's just got a brand new engine with a bit more horsepower than me, but his car was really built as a road car. Mine's been a copy or a replica of a race car, very wide track, very low compared to Warwick's.
So there's a couple of the M3 GTR replicas to watch out for as we watch the first race for the BMW Open class on the Sunday. These cars have already had a race this weekend. We're going to catch up with the highlights across all of the classes here this weekend for the Castrol BMW Race Driver Series. So this is race 1 on Sunday for the Open class. There's a handicap race, so the smaller Class C cars will be the first cars away. Beautiful sunny conditions for the Icebreaker meeting here at Hampton Downs. So there's 3 classes in the Open class, Class A, Class B and Class C. These are the Class A cars. There's the number 344 of Mike Mosen going through, another one of the GTR replicas. Mike Dalmont back out there, former champ in the Open Series in the BMW 2002 Turbo. So Mosen was the top qualifier at the beginning of the weekend and won the first race as we go on board with Aaron Harris, running in the very competitive Class B. It's daunting turn 1. So 8 laps for the first race on Sunday for the Open class. And instead of running for an outright championship this year, they're running for 3 different categories, A, B and C, for the Open Series. Entry list up over 40 cars for the weekend. There's Warwick Mortimer in the bellowing GTR V8 replica. Another one of the 3. Let's go on board with Aaron Harris, making some passes through some of the slower traffic. So Mortimer struggled a little bit in qualifying. Only managed an 8th position. And also had some issues in the first heat on Saturday, so Mortimer up against it. Some of the smaller class cars all having their own private battles. Here's Gordon Legg, the reigning Class C champion from last season. Car number 24. It's Fred Geisler. As we go on board with Barry Kirkbanan, weaving his way through traffic down at the hairpin. Another one of the fantastic sounding M3 GTR replicas. So he's working his way through this field. And he's really the first of the real quick guys to get towards the front. As we said in race number 1 on the Saturday here at Hampton Downs, it was Michael Mosen taking out the race victory. Andrew Timms finishing in the 2nd position with Neville Findlay in 3rd. Barry Kirkbanan finished in the 6th position for the first race of the weekend as he works his way up over the top of the hill in front of the apartment, screaming down the front straight. Down towards this daunting turn number 1, going back on board with Aaron Harris. Mortimer goes by him. He's trailing a lot of smoke. So Warwick Mortimer right up against it for the first round of the championship for the BMW Race Driver Series, brought to you by Castrol. The Race FX built GTR replica, and he loses a spot to Harris. Next series of corners there, just where Harris is going through. There's Mike Dalmont in the 111 BMW 2002 Turbo. About to gather up Aaron Harris for position. So Dalmont's just struggled a little bit in traffic as he looks to the outside of Harris at the hairpin. So watching highlights here of race 2 for the weekend for the Castrol BMW Open class. Mortimer continuing to struggle. You saw how much smoke was trailing behind his M3 GTR replica. Look at the traffic these guys are going to contend with. There's Paul Mill going through in the Z3M Coupe. 87 is David Brace, running in Class B. The BMW 325, car number 64 going through. That's Robert Vassenklot, relative new name to the Open Series. But Barry Kirkpatrick looks like he's got through towards the front. There's Warwick Mortimer parked on the side of the track, so a DNF for Warwick Mortimer. He was certainly one of the front runners in the overall championship last season for the Castrol Open class. Andre Cowan, of course, taking out the overall victory for the championship, but not contesting the BMW Series this season. Certainly in the early stages, but Barry Kirkpatrick up over the top of the hill, looking to take the checkered flag for his first time of the weekend. And there it is, Barry Kirkpatrick taking out the victory. Race 2 for the weekend for the Open class. Brett Geisler in second, and the number 24, Martin Seddon in third, followed by Michael Starnes, Bob Seabright, Richard Brocklehurst, Zach Lawrence and Derek Cecil.
Barry, well done. First race win for this car.
Yeah, I'm wrapped after a wet day yesterday and a very, very poor race in the wet. I came through today and it's great in the dry. Just a fantastic race, a lot of fun.
Warwick looks like a bit of bad luck there, but just looking amongst the sheet here, which you can have a look at, looks like you actually set the fastest lap time.
Oh, well.
And then what happened?
Well, actually, we've looks like we've bloody blown a power steering hose, and that was just going onto the exhaust and lost all power steering, of course, and gets heavier. And I had Mike right up behind me, of course, the whole way, giving me a bit of curry, but it just sort of gave up for some reason. But we've got another one there, so we'll have that fixed for the next race.
Martin, well done, third place there, but looked pretty busy from the outside.
Oh yeah, thanks for that. Yeah, it was busy. Just to start with, the handicap certainly helps, gets the traffic out. But if you get amongst it, I think it's actually more fun in the traffic.
And also you won the class.
Yeah, well that's always, first one, it's good to get under the belt, and I'd like to stay there if I can, but I would imagine everyone else will be chomping at the bit to, bowl me over next time.
Kane, a few weeks ago we saw you in a rally situation looking after a rally team, and now you're in the circuit side. Why do you get into the BMW Series?
Oh look, it's a good support thing for my customers. I do a lot of work for BMW customers along the way, and I thought being involved, it's a good sign of my commitment to the cars.
These cars are basically equal, but what are the little things you can do that would sort of give you a little bit of an edge?
Oh look, it's really down to the basics. It's all little stuff. I mean, the cars are so simple that if you probably tried to get too clever, you'd actually hurt yourself. Really, it's just down to toe and tyre pressure, and like any other sort of controlled circuit racing class, the tyres and the setup is the key.
So we're on board with Kane Barry. Very good rally car driver in his own right. Also prepares a lot of different cars around New Zealand in various forms of motorsport. So this is a reverse grid. Race 1 heads up start. And the drivers, there's 60 entries this weekend in the E30s. And they are split into 2 groups. This is Group 1, Race 2 for the weekend. The first race on Sunday here at Hampton Downs. There's young Graham Ball going through, another one of the graduates out of kart sport. Like so many young names now featuring in the Castrol BMW Race Driver Series. Car 50, Craig Schuster, coming back after some health issues last season. Good to see him back. Car number 9. It's Ross Gardner, another one of the regulars, as Matt Griffin looks to go down the inside in the Auckland Hydraulic Supplies number 999. Had a very strong debut season last year. A couple of little issues on the way, dropping him back in the points, but he'll be one to watch this season, as will the number 66 of Ashley Blewett. Both of these young drivers out of kart sport, and they're joined by another name, a famous name in New Zealand motorsport, Oxton, Richard Oxton, son of legend David Oxton, featured in the open wheel classes for so many years here in New Zealand, in Formula 5000s and the Formula Pacifics. So go back to the start of the weekend. Matt Griffin was the top qualifier, and he won the first race for this group of cars, with the entry of 60 split into 2 groups of 30. So a massive entry over the weekend, and 18 rookies contesting the meeting this weekend. There's Matt Griffin in the distinctively coloured number 999 AHS BMW. Craig Schuster, 707. There's Graham Ball in the P&S Auto Centre BMW E30. 287, Michael Clark. So Matt Griffin also getting 10 points, 10 bonus points from the first race with the fastest lap. So this is Group 1, race 2 for the weekend, a reverse grid. Here is Griffin. Beautifully presented. Number 999, as we're back on board with Kane Barry. Just looking at Kane's results for his first run of the weekend. He had an 8th place finish in this group. Oh, the 17 just dropping a wheel off Bruce Miller. Battling there with the 16 of Daniel Slater, another one of the big improvers from last season in the E30 class for the Castrol BMW Race Driver Series. There's the 5 of Mike Ashton. You know Mike will be at the pointy end of the championship at the end of this one. 7 rounds for the 10-11 championship. Quite a few of them here at Hampton Downs, of course. 63 is Grant McPhee. Oh, Slater sideways at the hairpin. You can see the differing lines there as Ashley Blewett starting to work his way through. He's already done the fastest lap of the race at a 1:22.950. Here's Michael Clark going through in the 287. 747, Tony Richardson. 18 rookies. Unbelievable. Here's the 86 of Andrew Armstrong. 62, John Blewett. Graham Ball again going through in the number 707. 79 is Charles Dodds. This group of cars down there towards the tail of the field as the action is hot up front. Mike Ashton and Ashley Blewett now disputing the race lead. Ashley Blewett having to work his way from fairly deep. Not as deep as Matt Griffin. Mike Ashton holds him off. So Mike Ashton with the race lead, the late stages. Group 1, race 2 for the weekend. Back on board with Kane Barry. Now he's up inside the top 6. As Ashton has to defend. Blewett pinches the left front brake, under brakes at the hairpin. It'll be Dan Slater just in behind them, and that grey number 16. As we go down to the checkered flag, it will be Ashley Blewett just on the line from Mike Ashton with Dan Slater back in 3rd. Blewett winning by just 0.017 of a second. So Ashley Blewett taking his first win of the weekend for Group 1 from Mike Ashton, Dan Slater, Bruce Miller, Kane Barry, Grant McPhee, Richard Oxton, and race 1 winner Matt Griffin.
Well done, your first race win.
Yeah, thank you. That was really quite unexpected, you know, starting from 20th on the grid. Didn't think, well, I was making my way through some of the cars, but I wasn't sure that I'd be able to get to the front, but it all came together in the last couple of laps.
Mike, once again, a close finish in the E30s, and I think you just missed out.
Yeah, that was a hard one. Reverse grid race, as you know. So starting on the 2nd grid, trying to get through the field, and just tried a bit, probably too hard, and my tyres just overcooked at the end, and Ashley drove a really good race as well, and I could see him coming, and by the time he got to that last lap coming up the hill, my tyres were just gone off, so I think he got me by about, I don't know, you were there, about a quarter of a nose or something, but hey, what a great race.
Dan, that was a pretty interesting race, and you were part of it, third overall in the end.
Yeah, pretty happy with that. Started 17th, came through the grid. Not too much smashing and crashing, so car's still in one piece. Everyone's happy, yeah, good.
Welcome back to Hampton Downs as we continue the race coverage of the 10-11 Castrol BMW Race Driver Series. It's Group 2 for the E30s.
Marty, a new year, and you've got that number 1 on your car, and I guess everyone else wants it.
Yeah, it's a bit of a target, I think. So a few of the guys have been asking me questions and whatnot, but no, it's good. It's hasn't been done before. That the other guys have moved on to other things, and I'd like to retain that number 1 for next year. So, but it's going to be really hard. Everyone's a little bit wiser and quicker than last year, and the guys have been working on the cars in the off season and whatnot. So yeah, it's going to be tough.
The rules have changed a little bit this year, particularly with the rounds. You must finish every round.
You must go to every round and you must finish every round to get maximum points. There's no drop rounds, so if you have a mechanical failure or a DNF through accident, in a reverse grid or something like that, yeah, your championship's pretty much out of the window.
Well, the BMW series, it's cheap, it's a lot of fun, but look what else it does. It brings a whole lot of old mates back together again. Now, all this started with Gerard Favre. He did the Escort One Make series many years ago, retired from motorsport, but now he's come back and raced in the BMW One Make series. But what did he do? He brought along his mate, Graham McDonald. Graham also knew a mate, Fred Barton. He owns Pass Right Driving Academy, and they decided to form this team. Well, the biggest challenge these three had is what were they going to call the team? They probably came up with old timers, maybe a few things I can't say on air, but Fred owns Pass Right Driving Academy, so behold, the Pass Right team.
So Group 2, Race 2 for the weekend. Again, it's a reverse grid. We're on board with Anthony Munns in the number 3 machine. So again, the faster guys having to work their way from the back of the grid, and this group features Brent Allen and Marty Irvine, the 2 championship protagonists from last season. And it came down to the last race of the championship and the fastest lap of the race to give the title to Marty Irvine. So he'll be back in this group. Look for the green number 1. There he is there, just to the outside of turn number 2. There's Brent Allen. So it was an amazingly close championship last season for the E30 class. Here's 80 going through. Keith Mitchell with a big dive bomb up the inside at the right-hander. So we're back on board with Munns. He's battling with Mitchell for position. So the quicker guys looking to work their way towards the front, like we saw with the likes of Ashley Blewett and Matt Griffin and some of the faster cars in Group 1. Here is Marty Irvine in the green and blue number 1. So for this group's first race on Saturday, Brent Allen took out the honours from Marty Irvine with the 7 of Grant Williams in the 3rd position. Marty Irvine qualifying 2nd behind Matt Griffin. So at this stage they'll be running in different groups until towards the end of the day, with the 3rd and final run with the fastest 30. Again split into 2 groups based on results for the weekend. Here's car number 58, Tony Houston. Looks like he's got the race lead early on. GJ Gardner-Holmes, number 58. Houston, another one of the series rookies. You can see the 3 stripes on the rear windscreen of that car. As we're back on board with Anthony Munns, trying to work his way through heavy traffic down through 1. Watching highlights of Group 2, Race 1 on Sunday, their 2nd race of the weekend here at Hampton Downs. So certainly the likes of Brent Allen and Marty Irvine with a lot of work to do. There's 76, John the Pom Tyler. He's got a big battle going there with car number 41, Dennis Hauser. So 30 cars on track with so many new names. Back on board with Munns, 7 just ahead. Grant Williams. Williams with a 3rd place finish in the first race on Saturday. 187, Paul Clark. Just to the outside of John the Pom. As we're back on board with Munns down towards the final corner. The wonderful sweeping right-hander here at Hampton Downs. There's lots of traffic up ahead and more down the inside as the 32 looking for position. Glenn Hitchcock picks up the pass on Munns. So that battle is outside of the top 15. As we go back to the battle out in front, 58, Tony Houston. Chased by the 12 of Tony Valder. No sign yet of the real quick guys, the likes of Brent Allen, Marty Irvine. There's Brent Allen going through. The 10 of Harvey Gray just in behind, and the current number 1, Marty Irvine. So they're not too far away out of the lead, but I think they're going to run out of laps. Tony Houston's doing a good job out in front. Fastest lap of the race. It's a 1:22.567 set by Marty Irvine, so he's certainly charging. 65, Gerald Farber back there in the 3rd position. One of the many pass-right team cars we heard Roger Davis talking about at the start of this one. So there's still another race for all of these guys. 2 more E30 races. We've got 1 more open races going off. Out is the 41 of Hauser. Spinning off the exit of turn 2. Just trying to get a break in traffic to get back on track. As we're back on board with Anthony Munns, he goes by the stranded Hauser. And Munns at the moment outside of the top 20. So he started near the back. And he's been involved in some pretty heavy battles. But out in front, it will be the 58 of Tony Houston taking out the victory. There's Munns crossing the line. Tony Houston taking his first race win from Tony Valder, Gerald Farber, Brent Allen and Marty Irvine, the 2 quick boys in 4th and 5th from Harvey Gray, Craig Coates and Grant Schuber.
Tony, your 2nd race, and looks like you're in the winner's circle already.
Yeah, pretty pleased with today after, a hard winter for me, sort of getting through and focusing on this is a real goal for me. And I'm pretty pleased with that win, I'd have to say, pretty pleased.
We've seen you do the mini challenge in the Tier 1, and I think Bridgestone before that. What made you get in this series?
I think there's just so many cars and it's so economical. The GJ Gardner car went really well today, and I'm pretty pleased with it.
Tony, looks like a big battle there with Gerald, but you came home 2nd.
Yeah, that was a pretty close race, and that's what it's all about in this series, close racing, and it makes it a lot of fun, and as long as the drivers keep their nerves, there's not too many incidents.
Martin, quite a few changes this year, and as far as the Open is concerned, you've moved up to Open, 3 classes. Just tell us a bit about it.
Well, they've decided to put the 3 classes in so that obviously last year there was just 1 winner for the Open. And there's 3 Pacific classes, so now there's going to be three winners, and the next race that's on now is going to be, the grids are going to be broken into 3. And so when they break it into 3, it means that we now be able to measure ourselves against our peers rather than going against the big boys. And it means that we'll also be a bit more courteous, obviously, on the track to the bigger guys as well, because we'll be able to tell that we're not racing against them anymore. We're racing a class within a class. So it's going to clean the racing up, I hope.
And just tell us about, you came from the E30, what made you change to the Open class?
In the E30, the competition is very tough, and if you're watching the E30 series, you'll see how tight it is up at the top. I sort of got to the middle of the first bunch, and I realised that to get any further it was going to be very difficult, and also you had to run the risk of probably trading, paint if you're going to move up through the field, and it is very, very, hotly contested at the top of that round. It is a very good competition.
Yeah, unbelievably competitive is the Castrol BMW Race Driver Series over both classes. Over 100 entries here this weekend. This is the final race for the Open class. Another reverse grid, so the quicker boys having to work their way from the back. 107 Grant Clegg going through there. Grant's helped me with some commentary over the years. The last couple of seasons on board with Barry Kirk-Bernand as they're starting to battle, and a little bit of contact there, I think, with the 24. Fred Geisler. 354 is Stephen Lawrence on board with Aaron Harris. Warwick Mortimer back out on track. And we got all 3 GTR M3 replicas running together. And Aaron Harris running right there with them. Harris will be one of the front runners in Class B, of course, as Geisler locks up. So we've got Barry Kirk-Bernand, who won the 2nd race of the weekend, the first race here on Sunday for the Open class cars, working his way through. He'll go to the inside of Geisler, down into the final corner here. No, not quite enough momentum. He should pick him up as we work our way Up the hill on board with Aaron Harris, just in behind Barry Kirkbanand. See the data there on the screen as well, just showing the speed. Well up over 200 kilometres an hour at the top of the hill. As Warwick Mortimer pulls out, trying to get the run down the inside of Harris. And there's Mike Mosen. There's Neville Finlay going through. 170 Michael Starnes. 142 Graham Fraser running in Class B. Grant Clegg going through there. Brake lock up there for 635 of Zach Lawrence. And there's the 755 of Peter Bromley, another one of the BMW 2002s, as Barry Kirkbanand is on the hunt. Looking to the inside of Finlay, up over the top of the hill and the apartments. As he streaks down the front straight, listen to this. Oh, and lots of smoke there from Mortimer. Oh, that's going to be terminal. Smoke inside the cockpit. He cannot see a thing. He's done a good job to slow that up. Lots of smoke to contend with for the drivers following. So more dramas for Warwick Mortimer. And there's Zach Lawrence going through in the beautiful BMW 635. So Barry Kirkbanand has had a good run through traffic. There's 102. That's Ken Starnes. Back on board with Aaron Harris. He's looking to go by Finlay. Neville Finlay also running in the NZ GT class with that BMW Z3. Here's Geisler and Mosen battling for position. And young Michael Starnes in the 170. He'll be one of the front runners in Class B with the likes of Aaron Harris and Ken Starnes, Bob Seabright, Gary Murphy and Zach Lawrence. Gary Murphy back out there. Didn't contest a lot of the open class rounds last year. Had a bit of fun doing some of the Dunlop Targa events around the country. As we're back on board with Barry Kirkbanand. Had a whole lot of ground to try and make up on the front running cars first away. He's just set the fastest lap of the race at a 1:13.629. No Mike Delmont, he didn't start this race. We've already seen the demise of Warwick Mortimer. He's stopped out there on track, so he's had a dramatic weekend. Final race of the weekend here at Hampton Downs. But Barry KB, another Targa veteran, one of only a handful of drivers that have contested all 16 Targas. Here's Gary Murphy squealing the tyres, and in behind him goes around Ken Starnes in the 102. Nice recovery. Let's have a look at the replay. Just got it in a little bit too hot. Probably pinched the rear brakes, and around went the number 102 Class B BMW. So that'll drop Starnes back through the order. He was near the front of the field. Here's the battle for second. Barry Kirkbanand already out in front. Neville Finlay trying to hold off Aaron Harris for that second position. Finlay running in Class A, Harris in Class B. So Barry Kirkbanand now right with the first cars away, and he's right near the front. Looking for his second win of the weekend. That'll be Peter Bromley just up ahead in the beautiful green number 755 BMW 2002. He's about to be swallowed up by the very much later model GTR M3 replica on board with Aaron Harris, still battling here with Finlay. So they're the second and the third of the quick boys to come through, and they're not too far, Barry Kirkbanand. It's the 15 of Phil there, just pinched a break in front of this group of cars. Back on board with Harris, goes to the outside of Finlay in traffic. Barry Kirkbanand now through to the lead, just making the turn through the right-hander. Peter Bromley in the second spot. Aaron Harris with the headlights on, but up over the top of the hill, looking for the checkered flag. Barry KB looking for 2 out of 3 for the weekend. There's the checkered flag. Barry Kirkbanand takes the victory in the stunning Race FX built M3 GTR replica. Aaron Harris in second, with Neville Finlay in third. So Barry KB with the win from Aaron Harris, Neville Finlay, Michael Mosen, and another one of the GTR M3s here to Fred Geisler, Michael Starnes, Greg Simons, and Graham Fraser.
Well done, Barry. Looks like a great weekend, 2 from 2.
Yeah, what an awesome weekend. Just everything's gone right for us this weekend. The car's been reliable, and a couple of guys who are probably faster than me have dropped out, unfortunately, so it's a bit of luck involved, but we did it.
You had to do a bit of work because you started off the back of the group.
Oh, yeah, it's hard work cutting through the field, although now it's Group A and it's a faster group. It's a bit easier to cut through, but you've still got to be on the ball and do it.
Aaron, great effort, got through to second, but a big battle there with Neville.
Yeah, it was a big battle. I think I started 22nd, so and I think I had to push pretty hard and got Neville on the last corner, so that was really good. A bit of traffic come up, so I managed to squeeze around the outside of him, so it was good.
Quite incredible, really, because you're not running slicks.
Yeah, unfortunately, I need a sponsor who can give me some money, and then I'll be able to afford some slicks. But just like to say, a big thanks to Motorsport Services for preparing my car, and I think hopefully we'll have a good season.
Aaron came from grid 22. He passed everybody, but when he got near you, it was a different story for him.
Well, we've had a few battles in the past, and he always seems to come off on the last lap, and he did it again. I missed a gear change out of the hairpin, and he was through, but I really enjoyed it.
Martin, you had to do a lot of work there, but you came through for the Class C win.
Oh yeah, that was pretty exciting, wasn't it, boy? There was a traffic jam up in that first corner, and I thought, well, there was a lot of people got the first round jitters, so everyone was giving everyone a lot of room. So I was a little bit cheeky and took advantage of that, snuck up a few places that generally you wouldn't get.
So after the first round of the Open Series, Barry Kirkpanan leads Group A from Michael Mosen, Aaron Harris leads Class B from Ken Starnes, Martin Seddon leads Class C from Gordon Legg.
One of the features with the BMW racing is how close they are out on the racetrack. Now all these cars are virtually identical, they're equal, and one of the key elements is they're all weighed on this weighbridge after every race to make sure they're all within the weight limit. Well, the minimum weight for the 318 car is 1075 kgs. So let's have a look at this one. 1080, he's clear, he's legal. Paul, on your way.